After the match on Saturday, you talked about accountability for the performance and the players. I was curious what that means for you in terms of holding the players accountable.
Mm.
Is it playing time? Is it what would that be?
You mean what's like the ramifications for
Yes. Uh huh.
accountability? Yeah, I mean some part of it is yeah, lineup selection comes into play. We've got 3 games in a week, and I know I always preach on like being in the present, but it's not a guarantee that you get to play the next game. So that they know that in the group that there's if you continuously make the same mistakes, then there becomes lineup selection. But ultimately, is making sure that it never happens again. On more on the non-negotiable stuff, like the work rate and effort, and those are the things that we shouldn't have to look to get back. I think that's the accountability I wanted. Is that we talked about starting fast. We preached on it the last 2 days before that game, and they started faster than us. So like we shouldn't be reacting to some team, especially at home. That's not the type of team we want to be at home. So that's more of the accountability that we are talking about. Yeah, lineup selection always comes into play. I always try to choose the best players available for the game.
And to be fair, though, it's a quick turnaround.
Hmm.
So if a person doesn't start on Wednesday, it may not mean they're being held accountable. It may just mean because it's a compressed schedule. Is that
Yeah, I mean
accurate?
everybody's held accountable. The problem is not a problem, but the thing is, and I don't give up on players. At the same time, like yes, you're held accountable, but our squad is where our squad is, and it's like doesn't mean that if you don't start this game doesn't mean you might not come off the bench. Doesn't mean that you're not available to be the starter for the next game. So the accountability with me doesn't mean you're out and I don't care about you, and then you're not the best player for us in that moment. Just mean maybe for the lineup, that's the best option here,
Okay.
and then we can because like you said, you're gonna have to go to the next game and that person might be the best available option.
Derek said something interesting after the game. I thought that there was a 50-50 tackle, like in the first minute of the game, that Nashville won. Uh, can something like that just set the tone for the next 10 minutes to try to explain why y'all just look flat?
It shouldn't. It sure they can. I don't think he would use it as an excuse, but they can't use it as an excuse. It's what happened is inexcusable. It won't. You asked me a question already. Like, how can you guarantee it won't happen again? I can't. But we've preached about it. Now actions. I mean, you just need actions. But that's one thing. Like one tackle can't define it. And even after they score the goal, like okay, then you have to dust yourself off and you have to go again because you got a lot of game left in that. You should be able to get back in a game like that. And we've done it before where we've lulled and fell behind, and it's been like I think you guys have all touched on it. It's happened throughout the season, and that is a problem. That's a bigger picture thing. Um, and I think again that happens at the first 5 minutes. Can you pull yourself back into it? But they didn't. They never pulled themselves back into it. And in the 6 minutes and a half or something like that, then we lose a second ball, and that comes down to the intensity and willingness to get the next ball. And they showed that more than we did. And that hurts. That hurts a lot because I told you guys before, it's not how I approach my work. It's not how I approach my life, and I was disappointed in that.
Switching now to Miami, it's a team y'all beat fairly handily down in Fort Lauderdale. Is there an advantage to facing them again, coming off such a poor performance with the muscle memory of what y'all did well down there?
No, I mean, look, like, yeah, it was a great performance. Great to win. I wouldn't say it was handedly. But anytime you've got the type of team that they have, the players that they have, nothing is going to be easy. So yeah, I mean, we'll understand who they are, and it'll be a difficult game like they all are in this league.
And then Derek and Saba had mentioned that they think that y'all play better against the better teams because those better teams will play. You get space, you get areas that you can attack because they're also trying to attack. Do you think that's an accurate representation of the team?
It's interesting. We talked about that this morning as a group. We talked about Derek and I spoke about that on the field, and I reiterated to him like that's not an excuse. It's not a good reason or valid reason to say I show up on this game and not that game because what we talk about or what I have preached to him about every single day is that it's how you do it. It's how you do your work. Every single day you show up the exact same to be better every single day at a certain standard that we've talked about and words that we're saying that we need actions out of them. And it's not a faucet where you can just switch it on, switch it off. It doesn't work that way. There's a reason why players make it to elite levels, and it's not by doing it sometimes or when you feel like it or against this team or that team. It's about doing it every single day to the top standard that you can do it at. And yeah, some players will have better qualities than others, but at the end of the day, like if you show up every single day to do your job to the best you can, no one will fault you for that. And if at the end of the day you maybe I'm deemed not good enough, or if that's the case, then you hold your hand up and you move on. But that should never be. I don't like that mentality, and I talked to him about that because that's something that has to flip.
Q, Zonde, Ronald, are they all out for Wednesday?
I'll have to check on the availability. Q, Ronald, I would say Ronald for sure. Q, most likely, and then yeah, Sean Day. I'll get an update when I get inside, but most likely out.
Thank you.
So, in those moments when you mentioned that tackle Derek talked about, when the momentum flips and you can kind of feel a little bit of the momentum change, what do you want to see from your group to flip it the other way? What kind of actions are you looking for in those moments?
Yeah, like to come out on top of the 50-50, to communicate aggressively to a teammate. Whether it's work rate to block across. I always think about. I think it's maybe a natural thing that people think about the defensive actions because they're very visual, but it could be a sprint that gets you in behind, or it could be a sprint that you maybe don't see and the other player gets you on the next one, or running to the back post when you don't think you're going to really get there when the ball's on the opposite side. So those are the types of things I want to see. I think the duels and aggression into duels has been something that we've talked about a lot, and that's an easy one to see, but you don't always get that. So it could be an action of running back and blocking across. It could be a header, a clearance, and then from there picking up second ball. It could be a running behind. Various different things. But seeing some character, some fight, like that's what I want to see. I saw it in Charlotte when Bartos blocked they threw it in. They went to cross it. He blocked it, and then he had his arms out. He's screaming. That's what I want to see. I want to see that it means something to him. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Also a question from Russia about Alexei Miranchuk. How do you think, is he 100% adapted to the team and to MLS yet, or do he need more time?
Look, it's hard to gauge a percentage, but he's adapting quickly, and it's going to take time. Hopefully he can adapt as quick as possible and get to that 100% or as close to it as quickly as he can. But he's been great in terms of personality-wise. I think on the field he's been adapting really well to his teammates. His teammates to him need to now adapt better, I think. And he's getting settled off the field. So from that standpoint, that helps. Once you get settled off the field, I think that then bleeds into what you do every day at work. So yeah, he's getting there. It'll take some time.
And if we are talking about playing time, if he is ready for 90 minutes, not yet.
I mean, ready or not, it came.
No, not for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like we played LA. He played about 30, and then we pushed him through the 90 that next game. So he's an important player that we're going to need the most out of him, safely, of course, because if he gets injured, it's not good for either. So with 3 games in a week, we'll have to be mindful of where he's at, but also it goes down to communication and what the game state looks like.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Having that win in Miami, it gives a little bit of confidence going forward, especially into this one. How is that result going to help you guys moving forward and give this team a little bit more of that momentum and that push and drive, especially in Wednesday's match?
Sorry, the first part of what you said, I didn't hear you.
With the result, like that happened back when you guys played in the Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Look, the past. I'm using this in both ways. The best thing about the past is it's in the past. Whether it's good or bad, it's gone. So you have to move forward. That result the other night and the Miami one, like we can't rest on what we did, and that'll get us 3 points this time. It'll have to be a different game plan. It's going to be different personnel. So it'll be the same for them. They won't show up exactly the same way, and we can take the experience of what we had and how we did certain things, but we can't just say, okay, copy paste and do the same again. So we'll have to be strategic in what we do. We always give respect to the opponent, and they've obviously got fantastic players, great coach and coaching staff that we're all very fond of here. So it'll be a good challenge for everybody.
Selma mentioned that with Nashville, they were really compact, and it was difficult for you guys to really branch out and try to connect those passes. How do you adjust in a moment like that when a team is really compact and they're not allowing you to do things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we did say that it would be difficult, so we talked about switches of play. You saw it a little bit in the first half, Derek trying to hit bigger switches of play. If you couldn't play through, balls in behind. Also, at the same time, trying to adapt to what they were doing. They did maybe something a little bit different in terms of their pressure and their shape. So we talked about rolling some players out, pushing players higher into pockets of space, but doing things in movement. So, I mean, those are adaptations that we're trying to make on the field, coaches to players, and them take it on from there as well. So we tried little things in the first half to try to make some impact, and then in the second half tried as well with substitutions, change of shape, to push more numbers forward.
Other than the halftime mariachi band, which was awesome, were there any positives from the performance on Saturday?
That it's over, and then we can move on. I missed the mariachi band, so sorry, apologies to them, but it's great that they did a good job. Happy for them. I don't think there was a lot, to be honest. I think the best thing is that it's behind us and that we move forward. We addressed what happened, and now we take the accountability to move forward to put a better performance for the fans and the people that deserve more.
All right.